Texas Longhorns surprised a lot of people yesterday as they got Arch Manning in the running with Alabama, Georgia, maybe Ole Miss, a couple other programs in there. It felt like it was down to 3, and it turns out that it's going to be the Longhorns, but he doesn't get there until next year. Kirk Bohls has been around a long time. Austin, American statesman, one of the great columnists in America. Last time you were this excited, Kirk, about a quarterback coming to the Longhorns was when?
That would be 2002. Name Vince Young, that you might recall. And, it's weird. Arch Manning got a perfect rating from the recruiting websites, and the only other two were Vince Young and Quinn Ewers, and they all have Longhorn ties. How amazing is that?
Quinn Ewers is place card holder here, I'm guessing?
Yeah, I don't think he would have left Ohio State. I don't know if he's running away from C.J. Stroud, but, I don't think he's here at Texas to sit behind Hudson Card. So I don't know if he's just holding the seat warm or not, Dan, because, he was the number one quarterback in his recruiting class a couple of years ago. So, he seems like he has the it factor, but he hadn't thrown a pass in college football yet. So how do we really know?
What role do you think did it play that Arch was going to go to Texas knowing Texas is going to be in the SEC in a couple of years?
He strikes me as a kind of guy, he doesn't run from competition, and you want to play at the highest level. So I'm sure that was probably a factor, but just the fact that he picked Texas with all those, family ties to Tennessee and Ole Miss and could have gone just anywhere he wanted, it speaks volumes for this guy's character. I think a lot of the fact that, Sark was a quarterback at BYU, he played the position. Kirby Smart, not to, throw any shade on him. Obviously, the national championship winning coach, but he's a defensive guy. So was Nick Saban. Yeah. So I think that spoke to Arch Manning as well, Dan.
Can you remove the Manning family from Arch? If he's Arch Smith, is he still the number one recruit? How much does that play into it that the pedigree, the family history?
Well, that's got to play a big role, I think. Just the fact that, we're talking about the first family of football in America. When you get down to it, we're talking about, college football, NFL royalty. And I think that, definitely plays a factor. But, if you talk to his high school coach at Isidore Newman, I don't know if coaches want to coach this guy or adopt him. I mean, in some ways, it almost sounds too good to be true.
You mentioned Sark, sort of a quarterback whisperer. I just want to know about Sark, the head coach, because it's one thing that you can coach quarterbacks. I want to know if you can coach a football team.
Well, we haven't seen any evidence of that yet as head coach. I mean, he's got a 51-42 record, and he's been at some powerhouse schools with Washington, Southern Cal, in Texas. And, Southern Cal hadn't been the same since Pete Carroll left. Washington, he overtook a program that was, kind of in dire straits. And you could say the same for Texas. So, but you look at the resources that those schools have, and you figure he's got everything he should have. And that jury is very much out of the room yet, Dan. When you lose 6 straight games, you blow one halftime lead after the other and go 4-5-7. So, yeah, I don't think that book has been close to being written yet.
Who had a better offseason, Texas A&M or Texas?
I tell you what, it sure seems like Sark's winning the offseason. Finished 5th in the nation in recruiting. It's not to the caliber of Texas A&M, but Texas A&M has been able to sell that SEC. They're already there. They're playing in there. They beat Alabama last year. Texas will get that chance, obviously, in week 2. But I can't imagine Sark having a better offseason than he's had to finish 5th in the nation recruiting, to land this guy, the number one prospect in all of recruiting. It's those damn pesky games that get in the way. If you just have the off season, Sark may claim the national championship.
Name, image, and likeness. How is that? How big is that with Texas? We know how important it is with A&M and Alabama. Some of these other schools, we haven't heard about Texas, at least nationally.
Yeah, I think Nick Saban may have mentioned that once or twice this summer too, about how big NIL is, and it's changed the whole college landscape, and it changed college athletics as we know it, I think. And Texas is going to be right there with it. You got a pancake factory offering $50,000 to offensive linemen, and they could use some offensive linemen here. And Sark got 15 O line and D linemen, in this last recruiting class. So he knows this isn't a one man show. I mean, you look at Peyton Manning, he went to Tennessee. He didn't win the national championship. T. Martin comes around next year and wins it. So, you better have that strong supporting cast. They're going to be a heavy player nationally year to year in NIL. And Bijan Robinson, maybe the best tailback in college football. He's driving around a Lamborghini. I got to figure.
Whoa! He's got
Yeah,
a
exactly.
Huh?
And
Okay.
Arch Manning may get the whole dealership. I don't know. I don't think you can overstate how big it is in recruiting.
Where did you stand when you heard Texas was going to join the SEC?
Oh, I think it was kind of long overdue, and maybe they don't quite fit the whole profile of these strong state flagship schools, but in more rural America than Texas. So a lot of people would say Texas culture doesn't fit, but they want to play with the big boys, and they haven't been able to do that. And clearly, they're not ready, to play in the SEC. But getting the type of player that Arch Manning is gets them a little bit closer. But hey, you got to see some W's on the field too, obviously. But no, I support it.
Good to talk to you again, Kirk. Hope you're doing well. Got a lot to write about, although you
Yeah.
got to wait a little bit to write about, but it should be interesting. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Dan. Have a great summer.
Kirk Bohls, Austin American statesman, sports columnist.